show. Well, the dozen rising show. And I'm the rice. Oh my goodness, can't you hear it? Well, it's me. All right, anyway, good morning, it's 10:01. Well, good day to you all Negroes in America. We are still trapped, we're still here. So draw your ear near. Because we're almost out of here. I like that. I don't know why. I just make that. I make it up and it just glides by. All right, folks. Negroes, family, royal holy family within the kingdom of God Almighty. That is who we are. Let me tell you something, folks. There's information out there that establishes our Negro royalty. There is truth afoot. The lies spread far and wide, but let me tell you, in that little nook and cranny, you'll find truth about our kind. And I'm going to tell you this, because I don't want you to miss. We are Negroes. We are holy, royal Hebrews. We are descendants of folks in Scripture, David, Solomon, you name it. We're all of them. And there's been a lie that's been just getting by. And I don't think it can no longer rely on little side eye that lets it just slide by. No, it's got to go. The lie must go. And so we know, as we look into the information readily available to the Negro Nation, I will try to expose the deceit and the deception, and I'll try to make every kind of connection. And I only ask for my God's protection as we do, and see it all through. All right, that's enough of that. Here we go. So this week we've been having a hell of a show. This morning I woke up to being given a strike by YouTube, and they said that the show that I did yesterday, part 2, the SOS conspiracy, was filled with hate speech. And I said to myself, well, that's a reach. And so I appealed the decision with some felt derision. And well, folks, it came out on my side. And they let the video ride. It is back up. It is live. It's still there. And hey, I like that. It's cool. Anyway, so yeah, they banned that video yesterday at 10. They told me that it was hate speech, and then I told them, you know, truth is not hate. I opened with that. They only give you a certain amount of words to express what you want as you appeal. And so I let them know exactly how I feel. And thank goodness, again, I say the video is up today. All right, anyway, how you guys doing? Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Listen, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification button for all it's worth button. I don't know. Don't hit that too hard because it's not going to hit you back. The whole notification bell, I've heard, is whack. But hit it anyway, just in case. All right. Also, I need to make this clear. First, let me say this. Everything that I express, everything you hear me address is my opinion. It is not canon. It is simply how I may see things. It's narrative. It's not coercion. It's just my kind of version. And I just want that expressly said because I certainly don't want to end up dead. You know, I'm just joking. Listen, folks, You know I'm smoking. Look, yesterday they claimed it was hate speech. Today, today's information is less so inclined to be, interpreted by any of their minds. But when I read directly from a published book and from within YouTube, they take a second look. I just don't like. I don't like how that felt. I just don't. So I'm speaking on it, but okay, I won't. Here's what we're talking about: the globalization of war. I don't think I can hold off anymore. America's long war against humanity. Humanity. My goodness. Now this writer, Michael Chossudovsky, he's got an interesting pedigree. He is, in my opinion, a well-written writer. He's well expressed. He knows. I think he's got a global snapshot that is focused. And I recommend globalresearch.ca if you want to go and, they're a pretty solid news organization. They're not mainstream news media. They are slanted in every direction against the right. But I'm not a leftist or right. I'm not a centrist. I am, a prospective member of the kingdom. I'm hoping that I get my kingdom citizenship. So I don't look to Republican, Democrat, Independent, nothing like that. It's all garbage and man-made, and it will soon to waste be laid. Because it's our God they played. Next, I drift. Sorry about that. All right, so let's get into this, and we're going to talk about this publication that's available as well for donation. And remember, folks, I'll give it to you for free. All you got to do is ask me, but we certainly would appreciate your support, and in giving so, you would be a good sport naturally. Here go the Fundly, Patrony, the Cash App, see, all of the edifices you need to pay me. I'm just joking. All the edifices you need to support this effort. And while I'm at it, I want to say a shout out to my moderators. As we know, Antoine Anderson is always there. Okay? Don't make him pull his gun out and shoot it in the air. I'm just joking. And of course, Detrina. Oh, yeah. One of the OGs. Detrina remembers when I had 70,000 on TikTok and lost it a few days after we associated ourselves with one another, which is interesting. She has been a stalwart moderator, and occasionally I gotta pay her. So please, folks, if you don't mind, if you got a few dollars and you can find, throw it our way, and we'll throw you some PDFs in return. And that's all I'll say. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Doug Rice Show. The Globalization of War. Michael Chossudovsky. Oh, I can say it once more. Yeah, that's who he is. Okay, not too bad a presentation. Let's talk about who this guy is as I introduce him to the Negro Nation. Michael Chossudovsky is an award-winning author, professor of economics emeritus at the University of Ottawa, founder and director of the Center for Research on Globalization. That's where I got this publication. Montreal editor of Global Research. He has taught as visiting professor in Western Europe, Southeast Asia, the Pacific, and Latin America. He has served as economic advisor to governments of developing countries. He has acted as consultant to several international organizations. He is the author of 11 books, including Globalization of Poverty, The New World Order in 2003, America's War on Terrorism in 2005, The Global Economic Crisis, The Great Depression of the 21st Century, 2009, editor. Towards a World War III Scenario, The Dangers of Nuclear War, 2011. He is a contributor to the Encyclopedia Britannica. Let me lift my pinky up. His writings have been published in more than 20 languages, which is what? Like copy, paste, push a button? Like, what do you think? Oh, big effort. I get it, right? But okay. In other words, he's sold some books, Miami. He's gotten some books, but his published in 20 languages is now automated, so you should remove that. Michael Chossudovsky is a member of the Kuala Lumpur War Crimes Commission, which initiated the indictment against George W. Bush et al. For crimes of torture and war crimes. Judgment of the Kuala Lumpur War Crimes Tribunal, KLWCT. Tune in, 11 May 2020, and on crimes of genocide against the state of Israel. Judgment of the tribunal, November 25th, 2013. In 2014, Michael Chossudovsky was awarded the Gold Medal for Merit of the Republic of Serbia for his writings on NATO's war in Yugoslavia. All right. So we got his details. I mean, we got his his bona fides, right? The guy is somebody. The guy knows how to write. He knows at least a few things. I'm not siding with his politics. I don't know this man. Okay, I read, I do some commentary, I narrate a bit, and I said it before my Negro family, and that's it. So he's written some books, and this is an ebook that I got from him upon request, and so you are able to get it from me upon request. I encourage you to go to his organization, globalresearch.ca, and support him by giving Monet if you feel so inclined. I want to give people their credit. That's what's on my mind. Hope you get it. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to go over the chapters of this book. Just, kind of rudimentary and hopefully not too long-winded. All right, here we go. Part one. Hope you guys are liking this because I love it. Here we go. Historical overview. All right. Boom. So, the killing machine. Wait, because I got to fucking make it bigger, right? Is that right? I got to make it bigger. Oh, there we go. I knew I missed something. You guys, who's watching? Katrina, don't make me screw up. All right, here we go. Chapter one, just kidding. Imperial Conquest, America's Long War Against Humanity. Again, folks, this publication, Michael Chossudovsky has written this. And here we go, introduction. Hey, the U.S. and its NATO allies have embarked on a military adventure, a long war, which threatens the future of humanity. Interesting. This war without borders is intimately related to a worldwide process of economic restructuring, which has been conducive to the collapse of national economies and the impoverishment of large sectors of the world population. Now, that is an interesting opening. Consider that. The U.S. weapons producers are the recipients of U.S. Department of Defense multi-billion-dollar procurement contracts for advanced weapons systems. Interesting. In turn, the battle for oil in the Middle East and Central Asia directly serves the interests of the Anglo-American oil giants. The U.S. and its allies are beating the drums of war at the height of a worldwide economic depression. Now, let me pause there while I mention this was written, say, right about 2013, 2014, 2015, something like that. And I believe it is as current today as it is today as it was back then. And just let me say, the reason I say that, they're not going to go down without a fight. I mean, it looks good, doesn't it, BRICS? I mean, the 10-toed kingdom, and I believe that's it. I think they're they're prophetically identified, but I still gotta have in the back of my mind that one last hurrah that these Americans are gonna go far. You know what I mean? And this plan of action, this thing we're taking a look at, I can't imagine that they put so much into this to simply dismiss it offhand once they see the arrival of another kind of money, another currency. I don't believe that America is going to go into that long good night quietly. And so we'll read this and find out what their plans have been up to this point. Let's continue, shall we? The military deployment of U.S. NATO forces, coupled with non-conventional warfare, including covert intelligence operations, economic sanctions, and the thrust of regime change, is occurring simultaneously in several regions of the world. Central to an understanding of war is the media campaign, which grants its legitimacy in the eyes of public opinion. War has been provided with a humanitarian mandate under NATO's Responsibility to Protect, or RTP. The victims of US-led wars are presented as the perpetrators of war. Civilians in Yugoslavia, Palestine, Ukraine, Libya, Syria, and Iraq are responsible for their own deaths at the time of this writing. Meanwhile, the commander-in-chief of the largest military force on planet Earth is presented as a global peacemaker. Interesting. The granting of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009 to President Barack Obama has become an integral part of the Pentagon's propaganda machine. It provides a human face to the invaders. It demonizes those who oppose U.S. military intervention. And what we're experiencing today, as I pause before we go on our way, is the backlash, the reaction to President Obama's actions. Not just the knee-jerk response in the election of a cretin, a predatory monster, a malevolent, vile human taking the face of one Donald J. Trump. As you can see, a lot of all that was laid during the writing of this paper is now being felt as a response to it, and it continues. I mean, you see Obama is still in the news. He's not gone anywhere. He's just not sitting up there. And so I want to say that only because I know the paper itself may be dated. Thus, I wanted to be clear that though this was some time ago, the effects of it are still here. Let's continue. Here we go. The Nobel Committee says that President Obama has given the world hope for a better future. Oh, really? Do you feel that future? Do you feel that hope? The prize is awarded for Obama's extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. Now, the committee has attached special importance to Obama's vision of and work for a world without nuclear weapons. And since that time, what do we have? We've got weapons that go faster than sound. But let's see. His diplomacy is founded in the concept that those who are to lead the world must do so on the basis of values and attitudes that are shared by the majority of the world's population. Realities are turned upside down. War is peace, said George Orwell. The media, in chorus, upholds war as a humanitarian endeavor. Wars make us safer and richer, says the Washington Post. The big lie becomes the truth, in turn, upholding the truth through careful documentation and investigation analysis of the horrors of the US-led wars is casually categorized as conspiracy theory. While Washington wages a global war on terrorism, those who forcibly oppose America's wars of aggression are branded as terrorists. War becomes peace, a worthwhile humanitarian undertaking. Peaceful dissent becomes heresy. With unfolding events in Ukraine, of course, we see that developed interestingly, and the Middle East, humanity is at a dangerous crossroads. At no time since the Cuban Missile Crisis has the world been closer to the unthinkable. A World War III scenario, a global military conflict involving the use of nuclear weapons. Now let me land there for a minute, because that's the opening chapter of this publication. That is what they serve as the predicates for what comes next. And I got to tell you, folks, I love the text. These are long chapters too. Long chapters, I got to tell you. Wow. I just tried to get to chapter 2. And wow, it took me a minute. All right. Okay, so that's establishing the base for this document. Now, I got to tell you why I do this, because I don't want you to lose the point. A lot of what's available generally to the public is not really assistive. It's not helpful. It's not really informative. Really, what's readily available and what they serve you, what they give you as mental food for you to chew upon, is actually all filled with lies and deceit and deception and sleight of hand. There's no connection to truth when it comes to what they freely offer you. And so it's my understanding and belief that in order to avoid the grief of falling for their lies, you must somehow pull the truth directly in front of your eyes. And so I seek out and in turn share what I find with you, because it's important. It's important to me that I do. I mean, what else can I offer? I mean, what else is there except a clearing of the air? You have to understand, you have to admit, some of the stuff that we read is the shit. That just came out. I'm sorry about that. Next. All right, let's go. I'm sorry. The right show. All right, part 2, the dangers of nuclear war. Well, let me tell you. So just to let everybody know, we're like on the firing line. We're like right on the precipice, on the, that final clock tick second toward the midnight hour of nuclear annihilation. And I got to tell you, folks, I don't care. I have the hope in not only the resurrection, I have the hope in my God's protection. So if these folks are going to push buttons, I just say let them do it. No mean nothing. Okay, let's get to it. Next, all right, the dangers of nuclear war. Well, here we go. I need to see that better. Chapter 2. We're going over again, folks, the globalization of war. Now, let's just establish this will probably be part 1. I mean, my voice will be over before I could get it done. So let's call this part 1. Part 2 we'll go through, because I want to get all of these chapters in front of you. Chapter 2, Nuclear War and the Future of Humanity, Conversations with Fidel Castro. Now look, some of you are dated beings. Some of you have no idea what you're seeing. Castro, what are you talking about? Castro plays an intricate role in current history. And I need you to understand that. So there is absolutely no mystery. That down there in Cuba, those islands full of Negroes, oh, let me tell you, they got a story to tell. So we're going to start this, and let's go. From October 12th to 15th, 2010, I had an extensive and detailed discussion with Fidel Castro in Havana. Yeah, I reread that. I rewrote it. Sounds better. pertaining to the dangers of nuclear war, the global economic crisis, and the nature of the new world order. These meetings resulted in a wide-ranging and fruitful interview. The world is at a dangerous crossroads. We have reached a critical turning point in our history. This interview with Fidel Castro provides an understanding of the nature of modern warfare. Let me just stop right there. Now, the pertinent point I believe trying to be made here is, since the invention of nuclear weapons and the use of nuclear weapons during World War II's summarization, they dropped 2 of them on the Japanese nation. We know that. We've not come closer to the use of nuclear weapons except at the point during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And so when I look at this, I kind of know he's getting this framed photo from the mind of Castro. Let's go. Okay, we'll go. All right. The details of ongoing war preparations in relation to Iran have been withheld from the public eye. So, make sure I didn't miss anything. I didn't. Did I? The interview counter? I did, yes. Where a military operation to be launched against Iran, I got that, the U.S. and its allies would be unable to win a conventional war, with the possibility that this war could evolve towards a nuclear war. The detailing war preparations in relation to Iran have been withheld from the public eye. How to confront the diabolical and absurd proposition put forth by the United States administration that using tactical nuclear weapons against Iran will make the world a safer place. A central concept put forth by Fidel Castro in the interview is the battle of ideas. The leader of the Cuban Revolution believes that only a far-reaching battle of ideas could change the course of world history. The objective is to prevent the unthinkable, a nuclear war which threatens to destroy life on Earth. Interesting, for all it's worth. The corporate media is involved in acts of camouflage. The devastating impact of a nuclear war are either trivialized or not mentioned. Against this backdrop, Fidel's message to the world must be heard. People across the land, nationally and internationally, should understand the gravity of the present situation and act forcefully at all levels of society to reverse the tide of war. The battle of ideas is part of a revolutionary process. Against a barrage of media disinformation, Fidel Castro's resolve is to spread the word far and wide, to inform world public opinion, to make the impossible possible, to thwart a military adventure which in the real sense of the word threatens the future of humanity. Well, so we know what chapter 2 is there to tell. We know the flow of ideas. So listen, communism, capitalism, Western, Eastern ideation, there is no creation of a nation that will survive the kingdom. No kingdom will remain, no matter the name. And so I look to the hope that these creatures hold on to as a lost cause. I mean, you know, and I truly do. I like to think that the thinking is, you know, of reason and balance. But here's the problem. Eventually, they all go bad. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know, they start off this fair and equal justice kind of thing, and then it kind of turns a worm into, I'll just take everything that you'll bring. So I don't have faith in humanity. It is not for man who is walking to direct his own step, period, point blank. And that's where it's left. But you got to keep at least learning. You got to keep at least trying to figure out what, it's all about. And this Fidel Castro interview is long as hell. So I'm just letting you know. That's all I can tell. I'm doing pages and pages of it. All right, here we go. All right, we're on chapter 3, just so you know. Be sure to share this, folks. Okay? This is interesting. You're getting an insight from a well-educated individual, not me, Mr. Chossudovsky. And, he's written books, translated, push of a button. And I find the reading of comes out of the minds of others. It stimulates my own thinking. And that's the reason I feel that our show's format is good. We provide PDFs, information like we should. I just wish I could do more. I wish I could. All right, I'll stop. Whatever. Let me drink. Hold on. All right, don't worry about my voice. I can work through. Here we go. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Preemptive nuclear war. The role of Israel in triggering an attack on Iran. Well, now, let me read that if I can. All right, folks, so here we go. Welcome to the Doug Rice Show. 10:32 in the morning on 14th of September. You're tuned in. You're on the live with Doug Rice on 5 different platforms, and I do appreciate your being here. Now we're going to continue reading The Globalization of War, at least a summary of each chapter. That's all I'll go for, by Michael Chossudovsky. That's the author. Thought I'd throw that out there. All right, here we go. Preemptive nuclear war, the role of Israel in triggering an attack on Iran. Almost right out of the current headlines. Here we go. While one can conceptualize the loss of life and destruction resulting from present-day wars, including Iraq and Afghanistan, it is impossible to fully comprehend the devastation which might result from a third world war using new technologies and advanced weapons until it occurs and becomes a reality. The international community has endorsed nuclear war in the name of world peace. Making the world safer is the justification for launching a military operation which could potentially result in a nuclear holocaust. Now, let me stop there for a minute. Let me hold on. Right now, Ukraine being center mass when it comes to what could and could not happen involving nuclear weapons right now. Now, this is their fight. Don't get anxious. There's nothing to do with Negroes, okay? I need to say that. Everything we're talking about should not make you nervous. Give it a break. No, it doesn't serve us. That's their problem, their creation. There's nothing to do with Negro ideation. We don't care about what they do to themselves. Let them destroy themselves. I mean that. And here's the reason why. If they don't, the Creator will. Here's another thing you need to understand. Every single nation in turmoil today had something to do with putting Negroes in slavery. Yeah, I'll leave that right there. But as I was saying, it mirrors today's frame. It shows that these individuals regarding NATO, Israel, Iran, Ukraine, they're doing the same thing, they're the same game they're playing. And it could trigger some sort of conflict. But we, as Negroes trapped within the confines of this place, we have no business taking sides and getting in anyone's face. Remember, we're almost out of here. Next, all right, let's go. Here we go. Stockpiling and deployment of advanced weapons systems directed against Iran started in the immediate wake of the 2003 bombing and invasion of Iraq. From the outset, these war plans were led by the United States in liaison with NATO and Israel. Following the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the Bush administration identified Iran and Syria as the next stage of the roadmap to war. U.S. military sources intimated at the time that an aerial attack on Iran could involve a large-scale deployment comparable to the United States shock and awe bombings raids on Iraq in March 2013. American airstrikes on Iran would vastly exceed the scope of the 1981 Israeli attack on the Osirak nuclear center in Iraq and would more resemble the opening days of the 2003 air campaign against Iraq. All right, so what do we learn? Well, they've been making plans, man. What? Where do you think those plans have gone? I'm going to tell you where those plans have gone. They've gone into Donald Trump's bathroom. Yep. I mean, what are you doing? You get this man some plan. All of that's now probably public. It's part of the case now. They're reviewing it in skiffs and kiosks and whatnot. I mean, so as you can see, history from the past tumbles into present day and barrels headlong toward the future. And I don't think anything's going to fix it, not even a Band-Aid or a suture. I had to go there. Move on. Next. Sorry about that. Theater Iran near term. What is that? Theater Iran term. Ooh, that sounds like a secret something. Theater Iran near term. Tyrant. Codenamed by the U.S. military planners as Tyrant, Theater Iran near term simulations of an attack on Iran were initiated on May 2003, when the modelers and intelligence specialists put together the data needed for theater level, meaning large-scale scenario analysis for Iran. The scenarios identified several thousand targets inside Iran as part of a shock and awe blitzkrieg. Now wait, blitzkrieg, you know what that word? That comes from the German blitzkrieg, shock and awe, okay? Now, I'm familiar with the terms used in World War II, and one of them involved theaters. Let me tell you how they referred to the different areas of World War II. The Pacific was known as the Pacific Theater, and it embraced and encompassed all the wars involving the Philippines and everything involving the Japanese and all of that. And the European theater involved Nazis and Russians and Italians. They're now naming a theater in reference to how they wish to observe Iran in the framework of a war. You need to think about this, folks. This is years behind us. Now we need to look at what's in front of us. These same machines are moving. And us reading it is proving. All right, let's continue. Oh yeah, I'm still going. All right, the analysis called Tyrant for Theater Iran near term was coupled with a mock scenario for a Marine Corps invasion and a simulation of the Iranian missile force. U.S. and British planners conducted a Caspian Sea war game around the same time, and Bush directed the U.S. Strategic Command to draw up a global strike war plan for an attack against Iranian weapons of mass destruction. All of this was ultimately fed into a new war plan for major combat operations against Iran that military sources confirm now, April 20, 2006, exists in draft form. Where did those drafts go? Who has those drafts? Today, you know. I don't even have to say. General Milley, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing, Millie? Would you reach back into yesteryear and hand him these plans? Now he's waving them about like a crazy man? He's amazing. I love this. All right, let's go. Under tyrant, Army and U.S. Central Command planners have been examining both near-term and out-year scenarios for war with Iran, including all aspects of a major combat operation, from mobilization and deployment of forces through post-war stability operations after regime change. Regime change! Dear God, doesn't that seem strange? What is it with these people? Way over there, it's not how I like it. So I'm going to make a change. Way over there, it's not the way I see it, so I think I'll rearrange. What the? I'm just saying. So, chapter 3. That's an interesting scene. Preemptive nuclear war. I mean, listen, folks. I mean, there's a lot more. And again, these chapters are super long, very interesting, and the information is strong. So chapter 4 tells us a little bit more about their intent with the nuclear war. The threat of nuclear war, North Korea or the United States. My God, and for goodness sakes, it's like right out of the current circumstances. I dare say they need take some chances. Okay, I'm done. All right, here we go. This is interesting. Chapter 4, the threat of nuclear war, North Korea or the United States. Well, let's see. While the Western media portrays North Korea's nuclear weapons program as a threat to global security, it fails to acknowledge that the United States has been threatening North Korea with a nuclear attack for more than half a century. What? You're kidding? Yeah, okay. Unknown to the broader public, the United States has envisioned, is that right? The use of nuclear weapons against North Korea at the very outset of the Korean War in 1950. Hold up, ain't that nifty? Hold up. So, this dude ain't out of his mind completely. Now, I need you to understand this. In the 1950s, the United States used more armament on the country of North Korea than they did during World War II. Did you hear what I just said? Well, I'll say it again just for you. During the Korean War, you know how tiny Korea is. Cut it in half, all right? That'll make you laugh. North Korea was the target, and they bombed that tiny country into oblivion. And when I say that, you listen to me. I mean, not a structure was left standing in the entire goddamn land. Dead. Yeah, it's true. So what you gonna do? Of course you gonna hold a grudge or two. Okay, I drift. Sorry about that. In the immediate wake of the war, the United States deployed nuclear weapons in South Korea for use on a preemptive basis against the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, in violation of the July 1953 Armistice Agreement. Well, I'll be damned. Maybe they didn't mean it. The Hiroshima Doctrine applied to North Korea. Don't worry about it, folks. I can still read. U.S. nuclear doctrine pertaining to Korea was established following the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, which were largely directed against civilians. The strategic objective of a nuclear attack under the Hiroshima Doctrine was to trigger a mass casualty producing event resulting in tens of thousands of deaths. The objective was to terrorize an entire nation as a means of military conquest. Military targets were not the main objective. The notion of collateral damage was used as a justification for the mass killing of civilians under the official pretense that Hiroshima itself, I'm putting that in there, was a military base and that civilians were not the target. Let me tell you something right in your face. You better hear this, folks. Did you just read that? Because I'm bringing receipts. I am telling you this shit. Look, man, do you not understand? First, I told you about Woodrow Wilson, a vile, putrid white man, okay? And we all know that the fish stinks from the goddamned head. You understand? And so you've got to ask yourself what kind of man would come to just finalizing this kind of plan. To call an entire city a military target and to kill people indiscriminately and to write it down and to put it on paper for history. It's just, wow. I'm literally, I'm aghast. I'm back on that one. I'm serious. All right, let's keep going. US nuclear weapons stockpiled and deployed in South Korea. Barely a few years after the end of the Korean War, the United States initiated its deployment of nuclear warheads in South Korea. The deployment in Ujeongbu and Anyanyi had been envisioned as early as 1956. It is worth noting that the United States' decision to bring nuclear warheads to South Korea was in blatant violation of paragraph 13D of the Armistice Agreement, which prohibited the warring factions from introducing new weapons into Korea. The actual deployment of nuclear warheads started in January 1958, 4.5 years after the end of the Korean War. I'm going to stop there because I see there's more. That is chapter 4. Folks, information is power. And it's stagnant unless processed. The power of information sits, with absolutely no ability to do anything unless churned within your brain, and then somehow intertwined with all that you might say, because that's exactly how I'm going to play. This is vital. I want Negroes to have this information. I just don't want you to miss. There's chapter 5, there's all chapter 6, there's a bunch of chapters more, but I got to get to work, so my voice can't be sore. 10:48 in the morning. I do appreciate your time. For goodness sake, give and support this show if you like my rhyme. Next! All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, talk my voice back into strength, but I need it because you guys know I also, I do have a job. The show will be moving 3 hours earlier starting Monday. I want to prepare everybody for that. So one day next week, as I said, you can hear me speak. Last time, I used the same rhyme to say that we're going to be 7 a.m. starting on Monday. And I appreciate your time and I appreciate your attention. And thank you to Detrina and Antoine Anderson while I mention. All right, folks, that's it for me. It's Thursday. I got to get to work. I'm sure you have things to do. And I'm pretty sure everybody else does too. Okay, we're done. All right, thank you so much, folks. Please support this effort. Thank you for tuning into the show. You have yourself a great morning. All right, bye-bye. What? Hey! He's still leaving, isn't he? He's gone. All right, some of you are still here, right? It's Thursday. Just relax. Just relax. Do this every show, just so you know. Look, man, it's getting dangerous. Oh, you're getting there. You know, if you follow me on Facebook, if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Twitter, formerly X, you know, I write throughout the day little excerpts. What can I say? Little Negro prose, you know. And, you know, I try to say as much as I can without saying a lot, and that's a real risk for me because, you know, I'll say what I got. But before I send you on your merry little way, let me get a little advice to carry with you today, okay? You know, you don't know what the world may offer out there. You don't know. Read the news this morning. I'm here in Phoenix. People getting hit and run, people getting shot. You know, early in the morning. I mean, you know, you give what you got. But you got to be safe out there amongst individuals who are adept at blending. They're people who walk about the earth constantly pretending. And it just so happens that your Negro presence is possibly be offending. So before I send you out there on Thursday, just listen to the words I say because this is important, folks, and you know I say it, and it ain't no joke. If you got to be out there, and I know you do, just listen to these last few words, will you? I know you gonna be smiling up in somebody's faces, but I need you to do me a face. At least put this in your craze. Get that goddamn grin off your face. Now see how they interact in your space. Okay, I gotta go, folks. It was subpar, but